Now, Xylo, lavish your praise upon my head!
Praise you? Hell no.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
What's good, anime enthusiasts? We got another episode of To Be Sent as a Hero. Or, no, Sentenced to be a Hero. Either way, we got another episode. And this one is jam-packed with action and very little of story. And that's okay. That if an episode has less story and more action, as long as the action is cool, you're fine. And as long as the little story beats or bits or hints or foreshadowing is good, then okay, then we can settle for a nice little episode. And this is what it was. It was a nice little episode. Barely in a story. We get some explanation on things. Of course, again, as I said in the previous episode, I am also still left with a lot more questions, but it is a nice wrap up for this little mission that they're on. Norgalle gets his flowers. They show him off a lot more. He gets his few very good moments, which kind of, I want to say, really shines a bit into his character. We'll get to those moments when we get there. Not from himself, but how the other characters view him and their perception on him. And that's another thing I'll say I like about Sentenced to be a Hero, is that all the characters see each other differently, and it attributes to the whole twisted world that they're in. And it's not something that just like they're saying out loud. Even though it kind of seems like it, I can tell the intention in the dialogue between the characters and what they represent and how they either should or how they're being portrayed and interacting with each other. So getting into it, because it really, I don't want to say it's a short episode, but it kind of does fly by. In the beginning, we get a scene of the miners that are being cornered by the insect fairies, or fairies that are the insectoids. And the heroes come in, they body the fairies and save all the miners. We get a lot more action between the heroes. This is one of those things. And while they're resting, we get more information on secret seals, because Norgalle is making secret seals for all the miners. And he says as he talks, it seems like these secret seals, sunlight powers them, and without it, they consume energy quickly. Okay, the luminescence stored in an object is finite, so the secret seals have a limited amount of use. And when Norgalle carves his particular seals, he vastly decreases the energy consumption while also improving the effectiveness. And at the end of the day, he talks himself up as the true king because of his skills in making these secret seals. And that's fine and all, but that's interesting to note, is that these secret seals take in sunlight, so they're solar panels with extra abilities, which is neat, because I think that makes sense in the first episode of why the big demon attack was so hard for the Holy Knights, and I guess for the rest of them, because they ran out of ammo in their thunder staffs and their thunder ballista, because more than likely the secret seals in them lost power because, hey, there's no sun, they can't keep firing. And so as long as there's multiple fairies on the field, the Holy Knights, they're kind of screwed out. So that's cool. But that also raises the question, it kind of raises the question, but also when you inscribe sacred seals on yourself, as long as you're out in the sun, you're cool. But without any sun, you're kind of limited. Still, there's a lot more questions about the sacred seals that I have, but this is like a nice way of saying, okay, how are they in essence powered, or what is their ceiling? Like, where do they cap out at? So they do have a cap. It's just depending on sunlight, and more importantly, the carver of the sacred seals. meaning Norgalle. But after that whole thing, Xylo has a one-on-one with a particular miner. The miner thanks him for everything that he's done, and the miner gives a little bit of useful information about the Demon Lord, because there was at least 50 of the miners, and one of them heard a strange voice while the others were sleeping. He wandered off, and he came back as a monster. So it kind of tells, all right, this Demon Lord Lotus has some kind of siren-like ability to, I guess, either serenade or charm whoever's in the vicinity to come to them. Afterwards, Norgalle finishes all the seals, and all the miners are armed to the teeth with shovels, pickaxes, sealed to the nine. So I guess they're fit for combat, which is good because a fairy attack happens from below them, and another skirmish happens. Again, more action scenes here and there. But during it, we get a scene cut to the Holy Knights at their forward camp as they're making final preparations to do their whole cave-in of the tunnels. And while it's happening, Kivia and the official guy / priest notice that Territa is bored out of her mind. She's sitting on that crate, her legs dangling, and they're like, I see what's the issue. But that was short. Back to the heroes and the miners. They win the skirmish, but morale is low from the miners. They say they can't do this. They get attacked constantly, and this is where Norgalle takes the spotlight. He makes a rousing speech. It's a little short, and it puts lights of fire in the miners, especially the main one they gave him so much time with Xylo that he stands up, he reciprocates, and even though the miners know that Norgalle and the other people that helped him out are heroes, they at least want to try to fight back and not die this painful death of just sitting here being assaulted by fairies. Okay, time to put that to the test. Another attack from the fairies. Oh jeez. So the fairies come in from the sides, and the miners, with that rousing speech, it looks like they're fighting back. They're actually doing damage. They're jumping them. But also, the fairies are, fairies. They're big monsters, and they start taking down some miners. And just when things look bad, Territa throws out her swords and turns the tides. Afterwards, we get another lull as the battle's over. And while Territa is saying, praise me, Xylo's like, no, not happening. And he tells her, don't try to die for other people or for some weird idea of glory. And Territa flips it and says, Xylo, just because of the words that you tell me, you are worthy of my sacrifice. And I understand that you're looking out for my well-being, but I am a goddess. I was born to be of use to others. I crave their praise and exaltations. Even if this desire is merely written into our nature, I still wish to live my life gloriously. Ain't that sad, right? Okay. Territa, she's cute. I know I see a lot of things all across the interwebs about Territa so cute. Xylo, praise Territa, give her head pats, like hug her. Like, that's okay and all. But do y'all understand what Territa is? Or are you not questioning what she is? Still, we don't know. Is she human? Is she some kind of construct thing? Like, what is this church doing? And she said it so herself. This desire is merely written into our nature. Therefore, they are created for the sole purpose of being useful. They like being useful because they get praise. They actually get commended for their actions. So they will live for glory because that is what they do. That is in their nature. that is what the temple/church want these goddesses to do. That's crazy. They are creating weapons of mass destruction that says, I want to create this destruction. Therefore, easy for me being so explosive. That's why. And back to it, because Xylo doesn't want Terroretta to use up her ability so much that she get exhausted and become vulnerable, that's kind of gives some kind of credit to the theory that the church makes all these goddesses, sends them out on these missions to do as much destruction as possible and also, combat the demon blight. But at the same time, once that goddess just kind of taps out of everything, they get consumed by the demon blight, become a demon lord. The process repeats over and over again. There's a lot to Terroretta that is so twisted and broken, and I like that. I can sort of forgive the very childlike and the childlike nature and so gung-ho about praise and whatnot, because it makes sense in that twisted nature. I'm kind of okay with it now. You know what? I'm okay with it now. I'm chilling until something bad happens. But that also makes me really want to have like a nice little, at least one flashback episode of how was Senerva, how was she as a goddess? Did she have like the same emotional connection of wanting praise from others, and Xylo was like happy to do that? Who knows? But after that, another attack happens. The fairies just keep assaulting them, and during it, a very high-pitched wail or scream happens that puts nearly everyone on their knees. It's actually causing tinnitus, and that's what they say in the subtitles. And Terroretta helps with some cleansing, and the demon lord Lotus appears. And this is the first time that one of these demon lords/fairies speaks. It says, "Found you, found you." It does show it looking at Terroretta, but we don't know if it's directing it to Terroretta or it's saying "found you" because, hey, I found you miners. Hey, I found y'all. It's time to die. Anyways, more action. Xylo and Tatsuya go at it at the Demon Lord Lotus. And like I said, purely action scenes and whatnot. It's cool, looks good. The core appears. And when it does appear, it's at the same time that Xylo just runs out of luminescence. And the Holy Knights appear. And they attempt to provide support, but then they just get bodied by the wailing and they're just there. They just get put out of commission immediately. The battle rages on, and it's a series of sequences to where everyone is working together to bring down Lotus. It's nice, it's cool. And at the head of it is Norgalle, because at some point when he uses his lantern to create this giant blue flame, he gets caught into it, and he gets to being dangling above the demon lord, and he uses his saber sword to cut against his leg to free himself. And as he's falling down to deliver a big giant blow, in his mind he hears another voice saying Norgalle. He blinks and his little cracks in his eyes disappear, and then he says in his voice, "Norgalle, stay right there, I'm coming to save you." And he makes that final blow. Well, sort of second to final blow, which allows the finishing scenes to happen and the Demon Lord Lotus is finished. Before we get to the end of this, I want to take this short moment to really talk about that short little Norgalle moment. Does Norgalle have a split personality? And if he does, did it happen before he became a hero? And that's why he's saying he's a king? Maybe he does have the king's personality and his own? Or did it happen during him being a hero and he's died multiple times and he thinks he's a hero? Not hero, king. And that's why he has a split personality. I don't know. I don't know if it's like a language thing, but that's what's kind of going in my head right now. You know, these little small details that are sprinkling in, it tickles my mind. But after that, it's a wrap up. All the miners get to town. Everybody's happy. We know Norgalle went to the repair shop. He might get a new leg from another body. Most of the townsfolk are looking at the heroes negatively because, you know, they are criminals. But the main miner that's been having so much screen time comes up to Xylo with his wife that was a shopkeeper and his daughter who was waiting on him. And they say their thanks. Nice wholesome scene. The daughter wants to give Xylo a picked flower as thank you. Little comedy happens where Terrorita butts in, but all in all, it's a very nice, solid, happy ending. And at the tail end of it, we get to the Holy Knight side. The officials looking over at Xylo, and while Xylo's getting the praise and recognition, the dude's hating pretty much. But Captain Kivia kind of corrects the official, like, hey, let the heroes, you know, get the praise that they deserve. They saved these people. And, you know, she defends the heroes for their actions. And that's cool. And that's probably a final nail in the coffin confirmation for Kivia to start respecting the heroes and maybe team up with them. Who knows? But after that, that is the end of the episode. And like I said, nice little episode. We get some nuggets of story. It's chill. It's cool. Episode flies by. Really got no qualms with it. So yeah. I already said my piece about Terrorita, Norgalle. Those are the only two things that really stood out. But other than that, if y'all have anything you want to talk about, comment down below. Let me know what y'all think about the episode or anything else that has happened so far. Have a nice, thoughtful discussion. Y'all can gush about anything you want. Doesn't really matter. I just like to engage with people, especially for those that have been watching some of the other stuff that I've been reviewing so far. If nothing else, I hope all of you have a good day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. And I hope your day is just a little bit better than it already is. With that, we'll catch y'all in the next episode. Peace.